how are you? I am Shirley T. Williams,
Hi,
and
I'm Deborah. Welcome again tonight to Redefining What's Next Conversations for Women Over 50. We're glad to have you back, and we're just going to jump right into it and pick up where we left off last night. Shirley,
right,
how you doing? How you doing this evening?
I am doing wonderful. It's so
Good.
nice to be able to have this platform
Mm-hmm.
where we can be our authentic self and just show up like we
Yes.
are,
Yes, like
and,
we are.
and
Yes.
being just comfortable and hopefully relatable.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
one of my goals is to help women to understand that we all deal with life and we deal with it in different ways and we
Mm-hmm.
show up as ourselves. So this is us being our authentic self, not being concerned about the status and trying to compare ourselves to other people and how other people do things. And when women are transitioning and dealing with their life issues, that's an individual journey,
Yeah,
and they shouldn't compare their journey to what other people have gone through, because
exactly.
your life path, even though the bottom, we all have the same goals, is to understand what our purpose is and to understand what
Mm-hmm.
our mission is. But the
Mm-hmm.
way that we get to those points are different ways, different avenues, different methods, different growth
Exactly.
paths that we have to encounter for us
Mm-hmm.
to work out our own salvation to get where we need to be. But
Mm-hmm.
we're all
Mm-hmm.
headed in the same place of understanding.
Yes, exactly. That's very, very true. And to even have a platform where we can offer that to women, is a big deal. It's a really big deal because, I've struggled with that, comparing myself to other women, comparing my path to other women. I'm moving too slow. I'm not where they are. So yeah, it's a big deal to be able to hear somebody say you're okay with where you're at.
Absolutely. And I think with that imposter syndrome element that we all kind of face at some point,
Mm-hmm.
just being comfortable with who we are,
Yes,
where we
yes.
are right now, in spite of,
Mm-hmm.
it helps to relieve and take off some of the pressure and some of the
Yes.
stress. And a lot of times that'll keep us from progressing,
Oh yeah.
because I've been doing this for so long, but I'm not here. And so just started doing the same thing, and they've already achieved a certain level of what we might consider success.
Right.
But even though they may appear to have a certain level of like, success that we haven't
Mm-hmm.
reached yet, we're on a different path of
Right.
unfolding and becoming our authentic self. I can't count the number of times I have met successful people that seems to have achieved a lot in their life, but they're still
Yeah.
struggling. They're still dealing with those unresolved issues. They're still
Yes.
the same person with that same toxic mindset, although they
Mm-hmm.
look like they might have it all together.
Right. Right.
They're still dealing with that. And for me, and we touched on this a little bit when we talked about the detours, and everybody's not at the same place, and we have to go through whatever we have to go through to get to that place. So we take
Mm-hmm.
detours, we might get sidelined, we might get distracted,
Right. Right.
but that
That's very
doesn't
true.
mean that we missed the mark.
Exactly.
We are exactly where we need to be
Where
in
we need
any
to
given
be.
moment, because all of our experiences led us to this point, and
Right.
it's for it's to teach us lessons that we need to
Yes.
learn
Yeah,
to
that's what I was
peel
gonna say.
back
Yeah.
some of the
Right.
layers of the ego that
Yes.
that keeps
Yes.
us stuck in that certain mindset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very true because my next step may not be your next step.
Hmm.
And my lessons certainly aren't your lessons. I mean, they can be generally speaking, but not specific. specifically speaking. And I was actually thinking about this earlier today. Life is not it's not linear. It's not one line going from this point to the next point. I mean, life is it's up, it's down, it's in circles, it's going, it's then you go down and you go up again and you go back and you go around and it's just and because of that, it doesn't look like progress. And then, like you say, sometimes we go, it's like a circle. We do come back around to maybe the same place we were, but with a different mindset and a different perspective. And each time we go around, like you just said, we're peeling a layer of the onion. So the understanding that I have today, I may have to go back around the same circumstance, but I'm getting more understanding. I'm still peeling the onion, that layer, and so now I have a deeper understanding of what it is that I need to learn. It never stops. It's not like I got it and then that's it. It'll just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and more unfolding and more unfolding. So yeah, it definitely hurts us to compare ourselves to other people.
Hmm. And
It
just when
really
you
are.
think you've got it, more is
You
going to
don't have this.
unfold. That's the test. That's the test in the middle of the storm. Oh, I think I got it. I have it made. And then something else happens. So you haven't
Exactly.
learned that lesson that you were supposed to learn, and
Right.
you will continue to repeat the cycle. The same people will keep showing up in your life, and it's like, well, why everywhere I go it seems like I keep running into people that treat me such and such way? That's an issue in you that
Yes.
you need to look at to figure
Yes.
out, what am I doing to keep
Right.
drawing these people
The
and
same. Yeah.
situations into my life?
Exactly. Exactly. That is so very, 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 very true. Once we think we got it, it's like you don't know it like you need to know it.
Hmm.
Uh, that is so very true. Yeah. So, but we were talking last night about what to do in the meantime, and I kind of wanted to, delve a little bit more into that. What do we do in those uncomfortable periods when we're transitioning? We know we've left the old. We're in the midst of grieving what is old, what has died, and we're coming into the new. What do we do in those uncomfortable periods that makes it a little easier to look forward to what we're coming into and not dwell so much on the past?
I, I can think of a recent example in my life
Mm-hmm.
when I was had to embrace change again for the
Uh-huh.
umpteenth time.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable. It was
Yeah.
really uncomfortable because each time, physically, my body is doing what it's supposed to do at whatever age that I am. And it gets hard. It gets it gets really hard and weary starting over again, putting your life back together after whatever the situation is, whether it's the
Mm-hmm.
loss of a job, divorce, which are
Mm-hmm.
painful situations, and they're
Mm-hmm.
scary,
Yeah.
especially now with us living such an isolated life, um, where sometimes we don't have the support that's close by. So you're
Mm-hmm.
in a state,
Mm-hmm.
a city, or someplace by yourself
Mm-hmm.
without
Mm-hmm.
those resources.
Mm.
So what do? What I find when I'm in those situations, the first thing I have to do is control my thought process and not panic,
Okay.
not get angry, and not get
Mm-hmm.
upset. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'll start using affirmations as a tool that I go to often. When it gets really really overwhelming, where I can't even think, I'm so paralyzed by the situation, by the surprise,
Mm-hmm.
the shock, the unexpectancy, or whatever. Even when I
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a situation that I expected to occur, just not knowing
Yeah.
what's going to happen, what's going to unfold next.
Right.
I have to get grounded. I have to quiet my
Mm.
head,
Mm-hmm.
quiet all those thoughts, the monkey
Mm-hmm.
chatter that's
Mm-hmm.
constantly going almost
Mm-hmm.
24/7. I have to control that. And I do that again by affirmations. A lot of times, meditation and journaling helps a
Yeah.
lot also.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to, getting out in nature helps calm
Mm-hmm.
me. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if I'm inside dealing with a stressful situation, I have to take myself out of that situation, that stressful psychic energy, and by me going outside, that kind of disperses a lot of that energy. I start breathing
Yeah.
in fresh air. The
Yeah.
um, walking, the exercise will get the endorphins going, so that'll help to calm me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's little things like that. And I think also when you're in those types of situations where it's I don't know what to do, I'm stuck, we can't talk to everybody about things that we're going through, because the more you talk about a negative situation, the more you ignite the energy from it. So you're
Right.
just basically spinning your wheels. You're not
Right.
really dealing with the situation and trying to find a solution. You're perpetuating the anxiety and the negative energy from that situation. So a lot of
Right.
times we have to be quiet, we have to be still. That's the
Mm-hmm.
most important thing, is to get
Mm-hmm.
still. Turn off the television, because you don't want to keep watching that negative news, because that
Yeah.
energy is just fueling your
Yeah.
anxieties.
Yeah.
So the
Mm-hmm.
main thing, the important thing is to find that quiet place. And
Yeah.
if a lot of people don't understand how to meditate, they don't understand about
Mm-hmm.
journaling,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't understand about the importance of being still and centered and going within.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the first step is to turn off all of the external distractions and to take time and make yourself be still. Even if it's only
Yes.
for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
we're creatures of habits.
Mm-hmm.
We are creatures of habits, so we have to unlearn some of those bad habits, the busyness, always being busy, always thinking I have to figure this out. You're racking your brains trying to figure out what you need to
Right.
do, instead of
Right.
relaxing, letting it go, and let the universe
Yeah.
unfold and show
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
what's next. So those are basically the three or four things. Those are my go-to. And then also
Mm-hmm.
in the evening, as a way to unwind from all that, honey, I can't overestimate the power of taking a nice hot bubble bath.
Yes.
Sitting in a tub and setting the mood sometimes, depending on how high your stress level is. Get the candle lights. If you need a glass of wine to sip on, and put on some George Benson and Kenny G, and just sit in that hot tub and let that, just relax and let that have your Calgon moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let I don't use
Mm-hmm.
Calgon, I use Dawn and put some Epsom salt in the water. That works for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so very true.
And I'm sunken in that
Yeah.
tub, and if the water gets too warm, I will heat it up and sit there again, because, again, taking a hot bath helps release some of the toxins, because you're sweating out a lot of the poisons and
Yeah.
toxins
Yeah.
in your
That's
system
very
as well.
true. That's very
Yeah.
true. I love a hot bath as well, but we've got one of those huge tubs. And the only reason why I don't use it as much is because number one, it takes so long to fill up. And by
Mm-hmm.
the time it's filled up, all the hot water's run out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get in it, the hot, it won't stay hot very long. And then
Mm-hmm.
the water's not hot anymore. So I can't put more hot water in it. So I'm like, you know what, forget it. So, but I love a hot shower. And I bought some, I don't know if you've seen the shower steamers.
Mm-mm.
They are absolutely I found them in Bath and Body Works, and they're just
Mm.
little round steamers, and they come in different essential oils, and it's a little tablet, and when you turn the shower on, you put it in the shower on the floor, and all the aroma of the essential oils just come up in the shower. And so I've
Mhm.
got like the eucalyptus, I've got lavender, different scents, and
Oh
I just
my.
I get in and I just inhale the lavender and the eucalyptus and feel that hot water, and it does help me unwind. But one of the things that I thought about when you were talking about that, and this is something that I've been guilty of and probably still do, is self-medicating when I'm going through. And
Mhm.
the TV is a big one.
Mhm.
Instead of, I mean, it's like a, I mean, it could be a distraction, but at the same time, it could be something that we're using to just not have to deal with anything. Let me just turn the TV
Absolutely.
on and self-medicate, or it could be eating, it could be I don't know um anybody would use for that, but I definitely like some of the things that you were saying too. I love going for a walk and just putting my music on and just listening to the music and walk, because it does give you clarity, helps, de-stress your mind, and getting that energy moving.
Mhm.
It really helped nature. Like you said, I love the sunshine. I love it. I like to just put my face up in the sun like I'm just getting a kiss from the sun, and just the
I like
you
that.
know the warmth on the warmth on my face, getting that vitamin D, and getting the downloads from the sun. And I love trees. I love being amongst the trees. I love
Mhm.
wind, feeling the wind on my face. And nature really does help us ground.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Really
definitely.
does help us ground. So yes, I enjoy some of those things as well, but it really does take a level of awareness to know when you are self-medicating and
Mhm.
that you need to get yourself up out of this funk or this stuckness, that I feel like I'm in right now, and go do something that's more productive, or that's more in alignment with what my soul needs in the moment.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a couple of things that were quite significant also when you talked about life not being linear. It
Mm-hmm.
goes up and down, and that's the journey. That's the journey.
Right. Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
unfolding. Because if you can stick with it and not give up, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll eventually, and it's not so much about getting to a certain point, it's what you're becoming, what we're
Yes.
becoming in the process. Are we
Yes.
becoming stronger individuals? Are we becoming more resilient? Are we becoming
Mm.
wiser in the process?
Mm-hmm.
What are the lessons that we're learning through
Mm-hmm.
the process?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a poem, and I don't have a copy of it right now. I don't know if it's anonymous. I can't think of who wrote it. It's called Don't Quit. When
Mm-hmm.
things when things get rough, as they sometimes will, when life seems all uphill, I'll post that on this as well. But no matter how
Okay.
tough life gets, we shouldn't quit,
Right.
because it's like as soon as you're almost at the point of overcoming, of achieving a certain level of success, you've been doing this for years and years and years, and it doesn't seem
Mm-hmm.
like you're making progress, and then
Mm-hmm.
you quit. Well, this isn't working, so I'm just going to give up. That's when
Right.
you're at your breakthrough.
Your breakthrough. Right.
We quit too soon sometimes before we get to the
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough.
That's
And
right.
one of the ways that I've learned to follow my soul's voice, it was a
Mm-hmm.
process. It's not anything. I've been on this journey for over 20 years. So I didn't just wake up one day and start, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna be obedient.
Right. Right.
I had all my mess. I
Right.
came into this with my mess.
Right.
And
Right.
so through it all, you work on your mess, whatever that is. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
ways when you were talking about what do you do in the gap, and I said, well, have my cowgirl moment. I'll put on some George Benson or some Kenny G. But for a
Mm-hmm.
beginner, someone who's new on this journey, You want to have that mind shift. So instead of putting on hip hop or something like that, in order to connect and really connect with your soul's voice, you might want to start listening to something spiritual, something that's
Mm-hmm.
uplifting,
Mm-hmm.
something that's going to help you feel that spiritual
Yeah.
connection.
Right.
And
Right.
we're not going to always get that from watching television or listening to Kenny G or George Benson. you know,
Right.
you have to
Right.
be able to pick what's right for you. But I
Right.
highly recommend for anybody who's new to this journey to find some spiritually uplifting music.
Hmm.
Um, it's
I love
okay.
Zen. I love the Zen music. You know, the
The
music that
Zen music as anything that's going to
meditative
give you that
music. I
spiritual,
mean, they've got
yes.
a ton of it on YouTube. It's a ton of it. You just put in
Mhm.
meditation music and just, you just listen to that.
Just
Um,
listen to that. Even if
mhm.
it's only for 5 or 10 minutes or so, that's
Yeah.
nurturing to your soul.
Hmm.
And that's a way also, because once you start doing that, you're starting to break these old patterns of behavior. So instead
Right.
of spending an hour watching a television program, a person
Right.
might substitute that behavior for maybe spending 15 or 20 minutes listening to meditative type music, and then
Hmm.
also continuing throughout the day by maybe reading something
Hmm.
spiritually
Hmm.
uplifting as well. What do they call those? Daily meditations or daily
Yeah.
thoughts for
Yeah.
today,
Hmm.
or something
Hmm.
along those lines.
Hmm. Yeah. That is so very true. Yeah. There's always something that we can reach for.
And
Um,
it's practical. It's not that hard to
and
do. It's just
right,
a matter of
right. It's
changing your mindset and your
mhm.
preference. And
Right.
I think that's the struggle for a lot of people, because this walk is daily. And like you alluded to earlier, it's about being aware of your
Hmm.
thoughts. It's about being
Hmm.
aware of your behavior.
Hmm.
It's about being aware of what you're doing and thinking. It's got to be a conscious
A
effort.
conscious effort. Yeah,
Uh,
it
yes.
does. Yeah,
And unfortunately, a lot of us are on autopilot. We just get up and go.
just get up and go, and we're not even. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with Eckhart Tolle,
Mhm.
but he, I was just scrolling the other day, and he popped up in my timeline, and he was, he was talking about this. The number one addiction is not alcohol and drugs; it's thinking. And I was like, that is so, so very true. Um, and like you said, we're not aware of it. From the time our eyes pop open in the morning, it starts, and sometimes,
Mhm.
not sometimes, but I'm always aware, okay, that was yesterday. We're not thinking about that today. I talk to my mind. I talk to
Mhm.
my mind,
Mhm.
no, that's old news. We're not thinking, we're not going there today. And so I purposely, like I'm changing the channel on the TV and
Mhm.
change what I'm thinking. It's just that simple. The magic word again there is aware.
Mhm. Mhm.
We
And
gotta be aware
making the effort to
and
choose
choosing
to
something
make,
different.
yes, yes, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
choosing something different. Absolutely. That's we have the ability to choose
Mhm.
no matter what we're going through because we could choose to wallow in self pity. We could choose to feel like a victim. We could choose to give up, like you said. We could choose to be angry or sad or whatever the case would be. But we can always choose in the midst of it, which will make that process and that journey of what we're going through quicker and so much easier.
Mhm. And you know what I think also, Deborah? I think people are so programmed to act and be a certain way
Oh,
because
of
of
course.
societal's expectations and all of the stuff that we allow into our consciousness
Mm-hmm.
programs us to think and be a certain way. And one of the things that I hope comes across in our sessions in our podcast is for people to understand the importance of self reflection
Mm-hmm.
and mindfulness and
Mm.
being courageous enough to allow their authentic self to emerge and not just be a puppet in
Mm.
society being programmed to do, think, and be a certain way
Yeah.
based on, even in the workplace, even in our home life, sometimes with the roles that we assume that we may not
Mm-hmm.
always be happy, that may not even be satisfying or fulfilling, the
Right.
relationships that we have.
Right. Absolutely.
I think people need to take time to self reflect, to get introspective, and to think for themselves and to step out of the box that their ego mind has kept them captive in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to break a loose from the herd.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to dance to the beat of a different drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid if the crowd is going this way to go the other way. If spirit is saying go the other way, don't
Mm-hmm.
be afraid to break out of the mold that we've allowed ourselves to be put in.
Yeah.
And I believe once people understand, really understand, and we're not just talking this is what we're living, and we haven't arrived yet. I'm not perfect. I still have the same struggles that a lot of these women that we're talking to have.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
day dealing with something, I'm
Every single,
struggling,
yeah.
and every day is new, and every
Mm-hmm.
new day brings a new situation
Yes, it does.
that we have to deal with. My son asked me one time, he said, "Well, Ma, you should have known better." And it, I'm like, yeah, I'm a lifelong learner. This is a new situation for me, and I had to pause to take a moment to think how I was going to handle it. Because the
Yeah.
old Shirley, need I say anymore? And
No,
and that's being, I didn't just get this way overnight. This is like 20 years or more.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
graduated to this point. It was a
Right.
graduation. I graduated
Right.
from the School of Hard Knocks only in phase one.
Exactly.
So, but it's a matter of not just the talk, but walking the walk as well.
Walking the walk. Yeah.
Walk in the walk as well.
And that's where the change comes in, not in reading about it or somebody telling us about it or even people, women listening to this podcast. But I mean, they could be, agreeing with what we're saying and yeah, that's good, that's right, that's great. But it's in the moments when you're actually faced with whatever it is that you're facing and you decide to choose something different, that's when the growth takes place. That's when the shifts happen. That's where the rubber meets the road. It's one thing to feel great when nothing's going on, but it's in those moments when you're challenged that there's the opportunity to grow.
Hmm.
And that's hard.
It is. It is because when you're new to this journey, when you're facing that challenge, your automatic response is to your automatic
Once you're
response
programmed.
is to your program is to react.
Yep.
The
Yep.
paradigm shift is to take a moment, step away. If you have to step, if you're in a
Yeah.
face-to-face situation with someone, you might want to step away. Excuse, this used to help me a lot. And it's
Hmm.
like when you're on that journey, you're going to be tested. You will
Oh
be
yeah.
tested. People will
Yeah.
come into your sphere of influence just to test you,
Yeah.
right? And so my escape was,
Give me a
excuse me,
moment.
excuse me, I need to go to the ladies' room. Excuse me, I need to take a break. That's when I would go outside, literally leave that physical location and go
Hmm.
outside. And sometimes I would walk around the block,
Right, 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 right.
literally. I had a situation not too long ago, well, before I moved here. where I
Mm-hmm.
had to walk around the block a number of times in the cold. I was so hot. I had to leave, left my coat. And after my second time around the block, I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't even have a coat on or anything. But I was
Right.
good. I was
Right.
good after that. I was able to
Yeah.
go now and face this situation with a clear head and
Mm-hmm.
thinking logically because
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to get caught up and go there.
Yes. Very easy.
And
I mean, it
sometimes
happens in
people
a.
expect you to go there. They'll push you to that
Oh
point.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And
Because
then when
it
you come back
happens
with a
like in a split, in a split second, you're there.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
and that's because, like you said, that's our default. That's what we're programmed to do, to react in a way. And it became a program because that's what we've been doing over and over and over and over again. And to
Yes,
make
yes.
that shift takes time, takes effort, and definitely takes consistency.
Yeah, the consistency is absolutely, and recognizing in those moments, okay, this is
Hmm.
a test. This is something I need to handle differently.
Right.
And again,
Right.
if you need to escape from that situation so you can think about how to handle it differently, then do that
Hmm.
by all
Hmm.
means. I'll run
Hmm.
in a heartbeat from a situation. They'd have, and
Right.
especially with somebody that wanted to fight, they'd have to catch me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Be like,
Yeah.
where's Shirley? She like 2 blocks away. I'm serious.
Shit. I had to get out of there. I had to leave for a minute. I'm sorry. I had to leave for a minute. I understand perfectly. I do. I really do. But yeah, it's a journey.
So whatever the women who are listening to this podcast is facing, and again, there's no one size solution that fits all, but there are some practical techniques that have been
Hmm.
proven to work, but
Yes,
you have to work with them and give them a chance. You know, situations don't change overnight, people don't change overnight, and we're not going to change overnight. But
absolutely.
consistency, one step at a time, one action at a time, will make a significant difference in your
Yes,
attitude, your
yes.
perception about the situation, and watch your life, improve. It's definitely going to get
Yeah.
better. You
Oh,
know,
definitely.
it's easy to say that we want to change and we want this in our life, but until you break those habits, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting all the time.
Right. Absolutely. That's very,
And you have
very
to take
true.
those action steps and do whatever is necessary by any means possible to do that and not self-sabotage your efforts. You can't
Right.
say you want to be healthy and eat 12 boxes of Cracker Jacks
Right.
and then 2 hours
Right.
later wonder why you feel like you gained 20 pounds.
Right.
So at some time after you pick up the first box of Cracker Jacks, you have to
At
think about,
some point,
do I
yeah.
really need this second? And then
Right.
read the label on them things. You won't want to eat that stuff anymore.
Ah, I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
very true. At some point, you got
in
to
all
exercise some.
seriousness,
Yeah, that's very true. So,
yeah.
yeah, this has been great. This has been great again. Sharing little nuggets, little bits and pieces of wisdom that we have accumulated along the way. You know,
And encouraging, you ladies out there to embrace the change,
embrace the
regardless of what
change.
it is. And if you need to talk to someone to help you through that, Deborah's available. I'm available. Don't be afraid to email us anytime and we will get back to you as quickly as possible and set up a time
Absolutely,
to talk with you, to help you
absolutely.
deal with these situations and give you practical tools. And sometimes we just need an accountability partner,
Yeah,
somebody to hold
yeah,
our hand while we're
yeah,
going through these
yeah.
situations and just to be a
Some
sounding board to
That's true.
provide some
Sometimes, yeah,
solace
yeah.
in the midst
Sometimes
of it.
people just need you to listen to
Hmm.
them, and um, yeah, that's very true. You're not alone. You're definitely not
Hmm.
alone. Yeah,
And if you feel you need to speak with one of us, you can definitely email us at redefining what's next at gmail.com. But so I hope this segment has been a blessing to someone out there. Leave us a comment. Let us know. Let us know
Yeah, yeah,
if this
absolutely.
topic is of interest to you. Is there anything that you'd like to hear on the podcast?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
we're even we might even have an open mic. You might get
That's
a
right.
chance to join us
That's right, and talk
on
to
this
us.
segment. Yeah,
Yeah,
if that's something you
absolutely,
think you might want to do, email us and let us know, and let's work this
absolutely.
thing out together. You're
Yes.
not in this. You're not on this journey alone. We're here to
No,
support
you're
you.
not.
So if you
No,
want to
you're
come up
not.
on stage and talk and share your wisdom
Yeah,
and your experiences, we welcome you with open arms.
yes, absolutely,
Is that a wrap?
absolutely. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.